Millersville football training camp, and we are previewing position by position, starting with the offensive line, and I'm joined by offensive line coach Jeff Richter. And Jeff, you have three returning starters coming back from last year: Kevin Bull, Matt Shuck, and Lenny Sinelli at the center position. How are those guys acclimated coming into the start of the year?
All right, well, Lenny, to start off with, he's made a good adjustment going over from tackle to center last year at this time. He's really progressed and gone forward into leading our group, making all the calls, making sure that everybody's on the same page. So I'm very impressed with him and his progression. Kevin Bull, he's starting off at our left tackle. He's done very well, and he's continuing to work over on little things as we go through practice. He's a guy that stays late after practice, stays late after meetings, making sure he can perfect his art. And he continues to grow and progress as the season went on like he did last year. Matt Shuck had to sit out last spring ball with a shoulder injury, so he's coming back and he's working his way back up the depth chart right now, but I'm confident that he's going to be able to provide us with something this year.
All right, and looking at the right tackle position, you had Dwan Franks, who practiced with you guys in the spring. Fans won't know him from last year because he wasn't around last year, but what did you see in him in the spring that makes you feel confident in him at right tackle?
He's a very tall, rangy, athletic, loud, confident type of guy. He's going to provide us with a lot of experience now, not from our scheme-wise from last year's playing experience, but going through the spring ball and working with our first team last year, he's going to provide a lot of athleticism and aggression, I believe, out there is the biggest key. I think he's going to fit in very well.
Well, you brought in a large number of offensive linemen in the recruiting class and some impressive type kids when they got onto campus. Those are guys that look like offensive linemen. What have you seen in the freshmen so far?
Well, the greatest thing that we have this year, last year we ended up the spring game with 6 offensive linemen because of a couple injuries and that. Right now we're sitting at 17 offensive linemen, which I absolutely love because now we got some competition. We got a lot of big bodies in here. Matt Von Nita is one guy that's impressed me quite a bit so far. Him and Stephen Woolley, they're both two guys that are rolling with our twos right now that they can start pressing for some playing time. And I've looked to see them in the very near future, maybe not of this year, next year going forward. But I think that those guys are the two, along with a couple of the other guys that can progress throughout the years. So.
And Jeff, last question. What's the key for this offensive line to come together and really be the leaders on an offense trying to turn it around?
I think it's confidence. I think that these guys right now, we're going through, working our calls, and as long as they're confident they know the calls, they're able to play aggressively. And I think that's working in right now. We have our defense right now. They're showing us a lot of different things, and they're a little bit frazzled right away, but I think as we go forward, they're going to continue to get things down. It's going to be good for us. So once that confidence comes in their play call, they can play aggressively. I think that's a big key.
All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. Continuing their training camp preview this week, running backs and linebackers coming tomorrow. So stay tuned to MillersvilleAthletics.com.